Metta World Peace. I miss you. I feel like I see you in person all the time, so this is really weird. How are you doing?
Everything is great. Miss you too. We haven't had a chance to communicate. This crisis is just like separating everyone.
Isn't it crazy? I think I saw you at All-Star in Chicago, which, gosh, that was like February. It seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, no, it was a great All-Star. Really cold, but the first day at All-Star was freezing. If anybody was there.
Oh, I know. It was. I'm from Chicago. It was 1 degree outside, and it was so windy. It was brutal. And I remember all the people out there were like, "Oh, this isn't that bad. Tough it up." But I am not tough anymore.
I know it was way too cold. I played in Chicago. I'm from New York, and that first day, I think it was a Friday, and it was freezing.
Yeah, it was a very cold weekend in Chicago. But you know what? I'd go back to it right now just to be outside and able to go to a game of some sort.
Yeah,
Be the last big thing.
I know. It's been tough.
So wait, you were just talking to me about how you went to the store like 2 weeks ago to stock up. How did you first get word or first hear that this was maybe going to be real serious?
Well, I was in Spain, then I went to Finland, right? And when I was in Spain, Italy was already on fire. Italy was already going through a lot. But in Spain, nobody was wearing masks. Everybody was like out eating dinner, right? So I go to Finland, then I go to Boston to go to the MIT conference.
Oh, I remember this. This was right after All-Star you went. Okay.
Yep, right after.
Okay.
Right, so I go there, and then I go to New York right after. So I'm in New York, and you hear about it, but nobody's talking about it that much, right? So the day I get back from New York City, literally New York City shut down, and then when I got back, literally LA was shutting down, and so I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but I go to some of the grocery stores, and then the grocery stores were all shut down.
Wow. Wait, so were you nervous at all that you had it, considering you traveled from overseas and that's kind of where it began?
You said what?
Were you nervous that you might have had it, like when you came back? Because a lot of people who were traveling, especially internationally at that time, those were the people that were testing positive.
And New York City, it was just brutal, right? Like New York City's like on fire right now.
Were you nervous?
And you said what?
Were you nervous?
I'm very nervous because when you see the amount of people that were just dying and becoming really sick, and then they were saying it wasn't affecting younger people, but now we see it is, and you have kids. It was very disturbing. And then some NBA players are getting, the virus, right? And it's like, you don't know which person, which human, like this virus is actually going to affect.
Yeah, you might not even show any symptoms. To me, I was in Chicago and then Florida when it started getting bigger. And I think the thing for me that kind of made it real was when the NBA players started showing positive and then they shut down the season. To me, I think that's kind of when everything really got serious, at least in the US. Did you feel that at all? It's almost like the NBA spearheaded the shutdowns.
I think the NBA, they did a really good job of like saying, okay, we're risking a lot of money, but we're done. I think they did a really good job because it seemed like they did a lot of research.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is gonna get bad. Because when they shut down, I'm a fan. I love basketball. I'm just like, no, the Lakers have a hell of an opportunity right now to win the title. Don't shut down. And when they shut down, they must have been like, hey, this is not going to be good.
Yeah, I started reaching out to some of my executive friends in the NBA just to like try to get some insight into what was going on. And they had access to all of those graphs and charts earlier than I think we all did. And they were really nervous about how serious it was. And then I was like, okay, if they're scared, then I'm a little nervous. This is a really, really big deal. So anyway, so you went to the store and you wanted to load up on toilet paper, huh?
Well, everybody loading up on toilet paper. So I wake up one morning and I go on World Star Hip Hop. I go on YouTube, right? And everybody's buying toilet tissue, right? So I'm like, I'm missing something here, right? So I went to the store. It's no toilet tissue, right? So
Did
now
you have any home?
Well, I had some, but I needed some more. I needed some more.
Okay.
And so I get to the store, all they have is tissue for your nose, right? That was it. So I'm like, the world is definitely coming to an end right now,
Yeah.
so by the way, yes, I'm like, the world's definitely coming to an end. So then I look on the shelves, a lot of the meat is gone, all the vegan products are gone, first day, nobody wants animal, you know, nobody wants to eat any meat. So all the vegan products were gone. A lot of the almond milk was gone,
I know.
and so Whole Foods was like Ralph's and all these other type of lower level grocery stores. Those were in disarray. Whole Foods was okay. You could still get a couple. Erewhon was amazing. I don't know if you've been to Erewhon.
It actually made me really sad because that's kind of, when I got back from Florida, I had already seen videos of the stores in LA. They were just empty, their shelves. And everyone I heard from was saying the more expensive grocery stores actually have stuff. It's the cheaper grocery stores that don't, which made me so sad because there's a lot of people who can't, especially now, afford to go shop at Whole Foods or Bristol Farms or Erewhon. Oof. The home $20 smoothie.
But Erewhon, they sold out of sea moss. So
and you need seed moss to get you through, huh?
I mean, preferably you would want sea moss in this situation. And so that was the one thing that Erewhon was sold out. But I think like the people that can afford Erewhon are people that was not really going to Ralph's.
Right.
So it was a good thing because if everybody was everywhere, then, Erewhon would have been, their shelves would have been empty.
Yeah, no, it's great we had options. So wait, you said that you bought a bunch of toilet paper and then you tried to return it?
Well, I had 3 big boxes, and then I'm like, somebody else is gonna need.
Where did you find that?
So what happened was I was walking around CVS looking because it was late. Everything was shut down.
Yes.
So I go to CVS and I try to find toilet paper.
Okay.
CVS. So I couldn't find anything. All they had was tissue for your nose, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, give me 20 boxes of the tissue for my nose because the world's coming to an end, right? So then I go to Ralph's Ralph's that was open until 2 a.m. So I got a shopping cart. I'm walking around, and I see this guy walk through with some toilet tissue. I'm like, where did you get that from? He said, a new load just came in. I go in the back, like 100, maybe 200 boxes, big boxes of toilet tissue. So I said, can I get 3 of those?
Wow.
And then I took 2. I'm like, I need something for my daughter. I took 3. Then I put 1 back. And then I said, okay, I'll just keep a couple. I got my daughter. I got a bunch of kids. And so I didn't know, anything. So, but it was, so I actually stopped going grocery shopping because I had enough food in the house. I was panicking a little bit. I was very scared because I didn't know what was going to happen with the food. I got my kids, this world is like coming to it. It's going crazy. So, but we didn't go shopping for like 2 weeks, because we had enough food. So we figured, just let everybody else, kind of, get what they need because we was pretty much okay.
Metta World Peace in the grocery store during the pandemic. I can only imagine the people shop. Are you wearing a mask and gloves?
Well, initially I wasn't wearing a mask, I wasn't wearing gloves. And now, I'm not going out. I'm actually self-isolating, self-quarantine. I'm not going out for another 2 weeks at minimum. And then I think Trump he extended it to April 30th. So
at least
I'll be in the house to April 30th minimum. I just don't, I want to make sure, because some people can carry it and they can, distribute it without even knowing, so I don't want to be that person, that's doing that.
Yeah, you just don't know. I tried to go hiking 2 weeks ago, and it was back when the trails were still open, and I went somewhere where I didn't think anyone would be, and it was so packed and people just didn't care about being close to each other. So I ended up leaving. But
well, the mortality rate is not that high, but the problem is it's not that the percentages are high, but people are dying, right? If one person dies, that's enough. Now you got 1,000 people in New York City that died from this disease, which is crazy, and there's going to be more and more, and nurses are just struggling. So,
No, it's just about stopping the spread. And I feel like there are so many people who aren't really taking it seriously who need to, even if they're not at risk for it. You never know who you can give it to. So you said that you're self-isolating. self-quarantining.
Yeah.
How's your head? How's your mind right now with this?
It's been challenging, because one of the issues is I network a lot. I'm always out, right? And
Yeah.
I'm networking on Zoom. I actually had a Zoom party. I had 3 Zoom parties.
Okay.
I had one with a couple couples, which we just was just partying like we was at the club on Zoom.
Okay.
And then I had one on Instagram. So that was pretty cool. It's just like how do you engage with people, without touching, coming too close, so trying to figure out ways to, cope, utilize the time. But I have been having a good time with the family, so that's good. But then you still want to keep the distance from your family in the house.
You're keeping a distance from your own family.
Absolutely. You don't want to just be up in front of people in your house because, who knows when we did self-isolate, where did they come from? Where did I come from? I came from Spain,
Yeah.
So
Is your family all staying inside too, or are they going out?
Everybody's staying inside. Everybody's staying inside with the exception of going to the grocery store every now and then. And, I feel bad for my kids. They miss their friends, right?
Yeah.
Girlfriends.
Are you trying to homeschool at all?
Well, they have their own, so they're old enough to do their work.
Okay. So they don't
college.
That is a whole other dimension of difficulty.
Yeah.
Are you working out? You can see, look, I'm wearing sweatpants. This is the best part about Zoom. This is a sweatshirt too, but I can wear sweatpants at work. It's great.
I worked out maybe 3 times total. I'm still out of shape. I'm worse.
So you're not worried about it?
I need to work out more. I did a video on Instagram the other day, and I took it down. It was bad.
Your workout was bad?
Yeah, I took it down. My gut is hanging over my hips, and not that bad, but almost,
You could be a before and after. You could show like your journey to getting.
I know I should do that. But then my daughter makes cookies for me.
That's the tough thing. I've been baking like crazy too. You just got to do it.
Well, right before you called me, I had my video on pause because I was eating cookies.
I knew. I could hear the munching on something. You've been really open about mental health, and we've talked about it a couple times too. This is a really tough time, I think, for a lot of people who are isolating. They're used to being like you. They're out networking. They're social. They're an extrovert. Did you learn anything when you were working with all of your specialists about how to handle times like these?
Yeah. Well, breathe. Well, right now, this virus affects the lungs. So if you have the virus and you're breathing, you still might be struggling. But I think it's important with these times to really try to, gather control over your emotions, because some people actually have jobs for essential businesses, but those non-essential businesses, people got to stay home. And then luckily for the stimulus package, people will be able to receive some checks. Hopefully everybody will be able to receive checks. So how do you deal with that? How do you cope with, all the uncertainty of a family that supports their children, the daughter, their sons, the husband supports the wife, and now you have no control. Just a month ago, we had a sense of control, right? We had a sense of this is life, this is America, this is how things go. I'm trying to make money, but I'm definitely not going to be in a situation where I'm not going to be making money. Who would have guessed that? So I would say, put your trust in each other at this point, while trying to support and protect your family. So many crazy things is happening during these times. So you're trying to protect your family. You're hoping that the country opens back up for business. I could imagine, I could imagine what someone that was living check to check is going through. 'Cause I remember when I was living check to check.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Well, that's the thing. If you're living check to check right now, even that $1,200 check is only going to last so long. And you really, I think you're right. It's the uncertainty of not knowing when this is going to be over, if there's going to be a job to return to. I know I have a lot of friends as well who were laid off from big jobs, and they're not sure if they're going to be able to go back. They have a little bit of savings, but it's for everyone. we're all kind of in the same boat of this uncertainty. And when you don't have a feeling of control, that's when you can be really anxious. But you said something interesting, and you've told me about this before, that one of your, I think it was your therapist, taught you about just breathing. And before you do something, just take a breath and think about it, right? You told me about that.
Yes.
How does that help you?
Well, when you're growing up, in my situation, I never had the tools to control my anger, to control my emotions. I always reacted, So when I was 28, my therapist taught me how to breathe. And she said, she said, right now, where do you feel tension? One of our first sessions. And I said, I don't know. She said, clench up, right? So clench your whole body. So I clenched, and then she said, relax. And then I relaxed, right? And so my shoulders had a lot of tension. Mm-hmm. Your forehead can have a lot of tension. Your jaws, your hips, and you don't even know. You could just be walking like this all day, and somebody do one thing wrong to you, you're triggered because you're holding so much tension. So she told me how to clench and then relax, relax the face, kind of like Tim Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, relax the shoulders, relax the hips, and release the tension. And as you're breathing in and out, then all the tension is actually being released. Also, you're actually, emptying your body of tension. So it's things like that, that I needed, when I was 28, 29, because I'm trying to continue and finish my NBA career. You got to understand, David Stern told me when I was 24 that you might not be here ever again, So for me, I was always trying to find ways to cope. And then from 24 in 2004, I lasted, 18 total years, another 13 years or something like that,
So are those ways that you learned how to cope back then, are they kind of coming back into play now? Or do you feel like you're just smooth sailing?
Well, right now I'm older, right? So, and basketball was my life. So when I'm in the middle of something that's so important to me, I'm only thinking about competition, competing, and running over whoever is in front of me. And if I can't run over them, I'm going to try.
Yeah.
So, but now I have nothing to run over. I have some, I don't have a reason to be, as emotional as I was when I was playing professional basketball.
So you're staying calm. You're good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm still a little worried about, certain businesses I invested in, right? I'm still a little worried about what happens when we come out post-COVID. What businesses just tanked. What families, are not able to work. And then, the businesses that I'm involved in, we're trying to prepare now, but nobody really knows. At the top, everybody, the presidents and, the vice presidents, and they're preparing, but it's not like we're getting information on how to, pivot a business or what businesses we should be involved in. So but that's little stuff. That's not as important as life, people losing lives. So I am worried about, which one of my family members are gonna, this virus, because it seems like it has no bias towards ethnicity, gender, race, right?
No, none at all.
Yeah.
Were you surprised, or what was your reaction when you heard that the NBA was canceling the season or postponing indefinitely?
When the NBA canceled the season, I was hurt because I'm like, LeBron is 35, right?
Your thoughts immediately went to LeBron.
Oh, he's 35 years old and he's playing well. And this is either going to help him for next year or another player is going to get better. Like these players are getting better. Like Brandon Ingram is getting better. Zion Williamson's coming.
You're saying like maybe the rest for LeBron could help him?
And that's what I don't know. In my mind, I'm like, damn, the Lakers have an opportunity right now. And, championships is all luck. Like when LeBron and them won, I think some people on the Warriors were hurt. When the Warriors won, some people on the Cavs was hurt. Yeah. When the Lakers lost in 2008, Bynum was hurt.
Okay.
Hey.
And then when the Celtics lost, they were hurt too.
Kendrick was hurt.
Let's be fair.
Kendrick was hurt. Kendrick was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we lost against the Pistons in 2004, Jermaine hyperextended his knee. We had the best record in the league, right?
Yeah.
So it's all timing, and it's all like you need things to go perfect, and things were going so well for the Lakers. And this would have been Milwaukee's first time in the finals if they would have won. So usually your first time in the finals, you're probably not gonna beat a veteran team.
Yeah.
So this is perfect timing for the Lakers
to rest.
To win. This year was perfect time to win.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see when the season comes back and how they do it. I don't even think they're really sure yet.
And you know what else is interesting? Anybody that contracted the COVID-19, it affects your lungs. So I'm really interested to see if the NBA comes back in, let's say, June or July, hopefully, praying. People that contracted this disease, it's going to be really interesting to see how they're breathing when they're running up the court. Because this disease does a number on your lungs.
Yeah, and like with the Lakers, we don't know who those players are. There was two, right?
Well, I heard there were two. There was a couple with the Jazz and the Nets.
The Nets had 4.
Nets had 4.
And of course, there's probably guys from other teams too that have tested positive, but some are
definitely
not to come out.
The Knicks are negative.
What did you say?
I heard that the New York Knicks were all negative, all the players.
Oh, that's good.
Which is good, yeah.
Obviously, nothing like this has ever happened before.
Right.
But when you were playing, is there anything that was this big or of this magnitude or even close that you could kind of relate it to?
Well, when you think about the towers falling in 9/11, that was kind of the stock market dropped, crashed. People were worried. Are people going to continue to bomb? Is the world coming over? And people, then in 2012, nothing happened in 2012, but in 2012, that was the year the world was supposed to end. Everybody was talking about that stuff. So that was more like kind of almost comical. But the towers dropping, that had a similar effect. A lot of people died. Thousands of people died. Which was really unfortunate. So.
What about in terms of basketball? Like your season being affected, uncertainty about what was going to go on next.
The only thing you can compare this as a professional basketball player in the NBA is lockout.
Yeah.
Like lockout. This is like lockout because you might not get paid or you might lose a percentage. I'm hearing some players might lose. So this is lockout. So lockout. So we wasn't expecting a lockout, but this is very similar to a lockout.
But with the lockout, I mean, you have a little bit of a sense of control because at least there's a players union and you can try to vote to help yourselves. But with this, there's just no control. But that's the same as everybody.
Yeah, no control. And I mean, with the lockout, you can sit out a long time. I think they never completely canceled the season, right? The NBA never completely said the season's over.
No.
So hopefully, you have no control over the situation. So, I mean, I was thinking that if the NBA comes back in June, we go straight to the playoffs and take one round out, move one round, and make the next round like 2 out of 3. But some people say you have to have some games. I'm like, freak the regular season, throw the regular season away.
Oh, wait, let's talk about that for a second. So
go right to the playoffs.
No games, just straight to the playoffs.
The playoffs.
The seeding is all done as it is right now.
Seeding's done, or you can give a bye potentially to the top 2 teams and let some people fight maybe a 1 game. But I say skip 1 round, go to the semifinals.
Wow.
Western Conference, Eastern Conference semifinals, conference finals, championship. And then maybe the championship could be 7, but I just don't want to see the whole season go. And people will be mad, but who cares?
Would you have to put, whoever would win this potential quick playoffs, would you have to put an asterisk next to their championship?
Well, the Spurs have a lockout one where they played 50 games or 28 games.
Okay.
The Dallas Mavericks they got a championship in the lockout,
Okay.
right? So
But do you
it's
look at
been,
those championships differently?
well, I mean, it's a lockout. It's a short season, so you know, it's not an 82 game season, right? So I don't think like this should not be treated any differently. It's you had this record at this point in time,
Yeah.
and you didn't make the playoffs. Because as a fan, I want to see the games. I want to go to the games as a fan, right?
What if they just played it March Madness style?
Wow. I mean, that would be, you know what? The players would say they would be upset.
Of
They would
course.
have the iron fist
Yeah.
banging the tables, but the fans would love it, right? The
I
fans,
think it'd be kind of cool.
it'd be cool. People make money,
Let's let
players,
all the teams play. All of them.
oh, that would be insane.
Wouldn't that be, I think that's the way to go.
You know what? That might be even better because now everyone's on an even playing field.
Yeah.
If you did March Madness style in the NBA, wow. I mean,
Against the first seed in the beginning. I think it's great.
well, this is the perfect time to test something because this was an unforeseen event and people still want to see basketball. So you actually you can justify, right at this point, you can justify anything. You can justify why you just give the championship to the Lakers.
No, how can you justify that?
Come on, just good.
You just give it to them? You can't justify it.
We had an unforeseen event. Sorry.
So you're a Laker, like at heart.
Well, I love the Lakers. There's a couple teams I love, right? So Lakers, Knicks, Rockets, Pacers, Kings, Bulls, right? These are all teams that I played on.
But you connect most with the Lakers?
I'm a Laker fan, and I'm a Bulls. So my favorite team is Chicago Bulls.
Same.
All right, so my favorite team, I grew up a Bulls fan. And then the Knicks is like in my blood. Like if you cut me, you'll see blue and orange come out. And then the Lakers is like, it's just a team and organization that I played for.
Yeah.
We did amazing things together, so I love the Lakers. And then the teams that I played for, the Maloofs, Sacramento Kings, no longer there, but the Maloofs were amazing owners. Then you have the Rockets with Daryl Morey. We had a great relationship there. The Pacers with Donnie Walsh. That's where I got my Defensive Player of the Year trophy, All-Star, third-team All-NBA. So love the Pacers. And the Bulls, I got drafted to the Bulls, Chicago.
How can you not? I mean, you grew up watching the Bulls. It's just so iconic, although it's kind of hard to root for them right now.
Well, it is hard. I always thought, like, after my career that I was going to buy season tickets, move to Chicago and buy season tickets with the Bulls. Wow. that was like,
pretty cheap right now.
Yeah, you're probably getting cheap. Probably getting free right now.
Yeah, you get a good deal. Gosh, the last Bulls game I went to, it was a Timberwolves Bulls game. There were more Timberwolves that I recognized as being former Bulls, including their coach. And then they got really excited. The fans cheered for the Timberwolves and for Chance the Rapper more than their own team.
So you're a Boston fan, right? Oh, Bulls fan.
Well, I'm from Chicago, so I'm a Bulls fan. But then my first job was for the Celtics, so I'm also a Celtics fan.
Okay.
Which is weird, but I feel like it's allowed.
It should be allowed. But so Bulls won or Celtics won?
Bulls won.
Bulls won.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching Michael Jordan, so that's why I love basketball and sports as much as I do. But
Michael Jordan is our like LeBron now to these little kids. Like that's who Michael Jordan was to us, right? That's
of course. Yeah, I get it. So what are your plans for the rest of the week? Do you keep a schedule?
Well, so I do actually keep a schedule. There's been a lot of Zoom meetings. Thursday, I'm doing a Zoom high tea.
A high tea? With who?
With just random people. We're going to be getting together, talking about sports, business, high tea, and red wine is allowed.
Tea and wine. Oh, wait, can I come to this?
I'll send you an invite.
I make scones. I have the best tea. I went to London last summer, became obsessed with high tea.
European style.
Oh, I have this amazing tea that I got from Paris. I've been dying to make it. So this is I just invited myself to your tea party.
I'll send you an invite. I'm really excited about it because, I think these times you deserve to have alcohol You should have a little alcohol during lunch with some tea, and just to kind of talk and see someone else. So hopefully we'll have about like 25 people at the high tea.
That's amazing. Good for you. Definitely staying very social, so that's good. You got to find creative ways to do it.
Absolutely, it's very important these days. You got to, get out there and try to stay active mentally. So important right now.
Yeah, if not physically, then mentally, and then breathe. Just remember to breathe.
Yes.
I've been doing a lot of that.
Wow.
Okay, Metta, it's been awesome talking to you. Can't wait till it doesn't have to be on a screen anymore.
Absolutely.
But it's at least good to see your face.
Absolutely, same here. It's great to see your face and great to have a good chat and have some social distancing.
I look forward to tea.
Absolutely, I'll send you the link.